What if I told you that the person you're obsessing over right now is actually blocking your path to finding real connection? The one you check their social media for, the one whose messages make your heart race, the one you've built up in your mind to be some kind of perfect answer to your life. That endless chase is costing you more than you realize. Today, I'm breaking down exactly why chasing a specific person is keeping you stuck and the 5 powerful shifts you need to make instead to attract the right relationship into your life. The obsession trap. Here's something most people don't understand about attraction. When you fixate on one person who isn't fully choosing you back, you're not actually building connection. You're building attachment to an idea that exists mostly in your head. Think about it. How much time do you spend imagining conversations with them, planning what you'll say next, analyzing every interaction looking for hidden meanings? That's not connection, that's obsession. And obsession creates an energy that people can feel from a mile away. It's heavy, it's needy, and it pushes away the very person you're trying to pull closer. The people who attract healthy relationships aren't the ones desperately chasing. They're the ones building a life so compelling that others want to be part of it. Shift 1. Choose reality over potential. Instead of making excuses for their behavior, they're just busy. They have trust issues. Once they see how good we could be together, choose to see what's actually happening right now. When someone wants to be with you, they make it clear. Mixed signals aren't complicated. They're actually a very clear signal of indecision or disinterest. You deserve someone who chooses you actively, not someone you have to convince. So the first shift is brutal but necessary. Stop investing in potential. Start responding to reality. Delete the fantasies of what could be. Delete the scenarios you've created in your head. Delete the imaginary future you've constructed with someone who hasn't chosen to build it with you. This isn't pessimism. It's clarity. And clarity is the first step toward attracting something real. Shift 2. Reclaim your self-worth. Instead of tying your value to their validation, where every text back makes you feel worthy and every silence makes you question everything, take back the keys to your own worth. This second shift is about remembering that your value was never determined by their attention in the first place. Start a daily practice of recognizing your inherent worth, independent of who notices it. Whether that's through journaling, meditation, or simply standing in front of the mirror and speaking truth to yourself. I am complete without external validation. My worth is not determined by who chooses me. I am already enough. When you truly embody this shift, something powerful happens. You start making decisions from a place of self-respect rather than desperation, and that energy shift changes everything. Shift 3. Restart your paused life. Instead of putting your life on hold while waiting for them to commit, press play on everything you've paused. Be ruthlessly honest with yourself. What opportunities have you missed because you were waiting for this person? How many times have you checked your phone instead of being present with friends? What aspects of your life are on standby until they finally commit to you? This third shift is about reclaiming your forward momentum. Dust off those hobbies. Reconnect with goals you've neglected. Nurture the relationships you've been taking for granted. People are magnetically drawn to those who have passion and direction in their lives, not those waiting by the phone. So build a life that excites you, regardless of who's in it. When you're actively engaged in pursuits that light you up, you create an energy that others can feel. They don't just see someone who's busy, they see someone who's alive, present, purposeful, and that quality is irresistible in a world where most people are just going through the motions. Shift 4. Raise your standards, not lower them. Instead of justifying behavior that undermines your worth, late-night texts, but daytime silence, convenience-based affection, words that never match actions. Raise your standards to reflect what you truly deserve. This fourth shift requires courage. It means establishing boundaries that might filter out the very person you've been fixated on. Good. Let them be filtered out. Create a clear mental list of what's acceptable to you in a relationship, not in the abstract, in specific behavioral terms. How do you expect to be communicated with? What level of consistency matters to you? What values must be demonstrated, not just talked about? Then hold everyone, including yourself, to those standards. High standards aren't walls to keep people out. They're filters to let the right ones in. And the right ones will rise to meet those standards without you having to demand it, because they have high standards for themselves too. Shift 5. Return to authenticity. Instead of molding yourself into whatever you think they want, laughing at jokes you don't find funny, developing sudden interest in their hobbies, carefully curating what you share, be radically, unapologetically yourself. This fifth shift is perhaps the most powerful of all. It's about remembering who you were before this fixation began. What are your genuine interests? What actually makes you laugh? What perspectives and quirks make you uniquely you? When you chase someone, by performing a version of yourself, you're not actually giving them the chance to choose the real you. And even if they did choose that performance, would it really satisfy you? True connection can only happen between authentic humans, not carefully crafted characters. There's something profoundly liberating about dropping the performance, about letting go of the exhausting calculation behind every text, every conversation, every shared moment. When you show up as yourself, you accelerate the process of finding someone compatible. You stop wasting time with people who are attracted to a version of you that doesn't exist. The 3-step reset. To implement these 5 shifts successfully, follow this 3-step reset plan. First, create a clean break. This means deleting their number, unfollowing their social media, and creating genuine distance. Not as a manipulation tactic to make them miss you, but as a necessary reset for your own mental clarity. This isn't about them anymore. It's about you reclaiming your energy. I know this feels extreme. I know there's a voice in your head saying, but what if they reach out and I miss it? Trust me on this. If someone truly wants to be in your life, they'll find a way, even without the convenience of your immediate availability. Second, redirect that massive amount of focus you've been pouring into this person back into yourself. All that time thinking about them. Invest it in rediscovering who you are outside of this fixation. Make a list of things that made you feel alive before this person became the center of your thoughts. What pursuits lit you up? What environments energized you? What goals had you excited to wake up in the morning? Then systematically reintroduce these elements into your life, not as distractions, but as reconnections to your core self. And third, start engaging with life as if you're already complete. Because you are. Talk to new people without the agenda of finding the one. Pursue experiences that expand your world. Build the kind of life that excites you to wake up to each day. When you approach relationships from a place of fullness rather than lack, everything changes. You stop accepting crumbs because you're no longer starving. The paradox of attraction. Here's the beautiful paradox that most people miss. The moment you truly stop chasing is often the moment you become most attractive, not just to the person you were fixated on, though that sometimes happens, but to everyone around you. Because authentic self-assurance is rare and valuable. When you walk through the world knowing that your worth isn't determined by who chooses you, that's when the right people start choosing you. Not because you're chasing them, not because you're performing for them, but because they see something real in you that resonates with something real in them. That's not chasing, that's connecting. And connection, real, mutual, effortless connection, is what you've been looking for all along. The ultimate truth. So stop chasing that specific person. Start building the life that the right person will want to be part of. Because the truth is, the relationship you're really hungry for isn't with someone who needs convincing. It's with someone who sees you clearly and chooses you anyway. Someone who matches your effort. Someone who speaks your emotional language. Someone who doesn't leave you guessing. That person exists, but you'll never find them while you're blinded by the chase. Let go. Reset. Rebuild. And watch how quickly the right people start appearing in your life. Not because you're chasing them, but because you're finally running in the same direction. This isn't just about attracting better relationships with others. It's about creating a better relationship with yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's the relationship that determines all the others. So what will you choose? The endless, exhausting chase of someone who isn't choosing you back? Or the powerful reclamation of your energy, your worth, and your authentic self? You were never meant to convince someone of your value. You were meant to connect with those who recognize it without explanation. And they're out there, waiting for you to stop chasing and start being.